You're listening to the Purpose Driven Funnel Show. My guest today, Rachel Scott, was obsessed with Pinterest, and one day she thought, why not turn my hobby into a business? So on today's show, I talk with Rachel about how she did this while balancing a 9-to-5 job. She turned her passion into profits. I hope you enjoy it. I'm embarking on a journey to grow a successful online business so I can break free from my 9-to-5. The question is, how will I do it? Find out right here on the Purpose Driven Funnel Show, where you will get an insider's view as I interview experts who have succeeded. I'm doing it because my why is bigger than my 9-to-5. Life was meant to be a joy, not a chore. Will you join me? Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/purpose-driven-funnels. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Well, today I've got Rachel Scott with us, and she is a Pinterest guru that serves bloggers and small businesses to help them boost their business through Pinterest. And she's also the mother of a darling little girl, and she has a full-time job as an accountant. Welcome to the show, Rachel. I'm really glad to have you on here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to kind of dive into your story because kind of like me, you've been at this trying to get a business going for about a year now, and I'm really hitting my year mark. So it's going to be, I think, good to learn from you and kind of the experiences that you've had. But one of the first questions that I have for you is just kind of tell me a little bit about like why you decided to do, become a Pinterest manager and a Pinterest guru. What was the story behind that?
Sure. So I guess it was January of 2018, I decided that I wanted to start a blog. And I was going to be all about how much I actually hated being pregnant, the complete opposite of what you find everywhere. And I was like, this is going to be so cool. And then I realized it was really difficult. So I found myself only liking the fact that I could go on to Pinterest. So what I knew of Pinterest being, I planned my wedding from it. I planned my baby shower from it. That's how I knew it. And I didn't ever think about how the pins showed up there or how that ever happened. And when I started my blog and had to use the platform myself, I found myself really interested in that little intricacies of posting your own pins and creating them so that people want to click on them. And all the SEO that I couldn't understand in my blog made 10 times more sense in Pinterest. So that's kind of how I fell into it. And then one day while on Pinterest, I ran across a course about being a Pinterest strategist, which is technically my title right now. And I was like, wait, you can make money pinning on Pinterest. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm going to learn more about it.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Why not?
Thought about it.
Well, yeah, it sounds crazy to think that you could make money just pinning on Pinterest. So I was like, I'm going to read all about this. I looked up multiple posts about it. Unfortunately, the course was way out of my price range, but I was like, I'm going to find a way to do this. I liked using my blog as a way of getting out of kind of the situation I was in. I was in an abusive relationship, and so I used my blog and then my Pinterest management business to save me at night. So I had something to do. And so I was like, okay, well, now I can find this way of pinning for people and making my own money that would be mine. And it wouldn't be a mutual thing. It would just be mine. And I wasn't used to that. The last 3 years, it wasn't ever just mine. So I was excited to have something that was Rachel Scott LLC. It was mine. It was my name across it. So I learned as much as I could outside of that course. And I still have yet to take that course, but that's beyond the fact that I don't want to spend the $700 to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can definitely identify with that.
So I just decided that after I figured out that I could make money doing it, I was going to add to my blog. So I was still going to blog for a little bit and add a services page and see what happened. And I made my first 100K in my business within the first month of doing it.
Wow. That's amazing.
It was a struggle at first. Like, look, people can do this. Why can't I? So even to this day, I'm like, okay, well, if someone else can do it, I'll do it. And it'll just work. And somehow it's going to happen.
Wow. So one of the things that I heard you say too was that when you first started looking into it, that, you found this course and you weren't really able to, or trying to figure out how you could afford it. So can we talk a little bit about that? Because, that's one of the things that it can be a big roadblock for, a lot of us trying to start a business is, how do you start a business with little or no money, and how do you get into it when it costs more than you have? So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, of course. So the course that is out right now, when I started, was only $500. And it was the only course at the time. That was every pin that you saw that said anything about Pinterest management or Pinterest strategies or anything like that this was the only course. And so I couldn't bring myself to pay $500 towards a course that I wasn't sure was going to work or even help me. And what if I paid that $500 and then I didn't have the motivation to keep going? So I couldn't set myself there. I'm not a risk taker at all. So it was not going to happen. And I know there's a lot of people that feel the same way. I mean, just the idea of having to buy and do my own hosting for a blog or a website was scary to me. And that was less than $100. So I know there are a lot of people out there that are feeling pretty much the same way. And what I did was sign up for a lot of freebies. There are a lot of virtual assistant people that offer freebies to teach you the back ends. And then I figured out what helped me do my own pinning. And I joined a couple Facebook groups about Pinterest managers, for Pinterest strategists, and took advice from everyone. And I managed to do it without having to pay the $500 for the course.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so you and I think, kind of think a lot alike, because when I started, I started with the initial investment, but there's always more that you have to do. And so one thing that I want to highlight here is, because I heard you say you're not a big risk taker, and I know that, I'm not either, but entrepreneurs themselves are typically stereotyped as risk takers. So what you're saying is, you're not really the typical entrepreneurial personality like myself, but you've successfully been able to get a business going. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I talk to my mom a lot about it, and she's always like, wait, so you just did it? And I was like, yeah, I just did it. Like, I needed something to do. I'm not a person that likes to sit and watch TV. I have to do something. So why not make doing it? And I'll just find out a way to not have to take a risk to do it. The biggest risk I took was signing up for Dubsado, so I didn't have to use 3 different sources.
So you basically kind of use some strategies to figure out a way to kind of get it free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, even to this, it takes a lot for me to pay for a course. I just paid for like a passive profit course to kind of teach me how to make my eventual membership a passive profit kind of thing. And even that was a very hard decision to make.
Yeah, you want to make every penny count for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I was like, if there's not money sitting in my account, I'm not going to spend it. I don't spend any of my personal account. I only spend the money that I make from my business.
Right. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. So the other thing too, that I know, as we were kind of talking before the show, that you had told me that you still have a full-time job as an accountant also. And kind of like me, I mean, I'm still in that same, after a year of grinding, still have that full-time job. It's a real, time sucker, and it really takes a lot of time. So can you talk to us a little bit about that struggle and that balance between, being the full-time employee, having your business, and having a daughter to take care of as well?
Yeah. So my business is actually, it's a frozen fruit company that packages frozen fruit and vegetables. So you'll probably end up picking up one of our products in the grocery store and not even knowing it. But we're away from my house. So I spend 2 hours in the car every day, if not more, depending on traffic, just getting to the job or from back home.
Wow.
So I find a lot of my time, if I'm in the car, I might as well be doing something business-wise. So that's when I do my education, because every entrepreneur needs to do the continuing education. And so I'll listen to podcasts. I've watched some Facebook Lives while they were going on while I'm there. I'm in a mastermind, so I joined the calls a lot of times while I'm in the car. And then I spend my lunch break working as well. And I'm at a job in which I have told them that I could help their business with my own services. And they said not to tell anybody because they wouldn't take me seriously.
Oh, wow.
So to be in that kind of world where you're going to push through these opinions of people that you're supposed to be looking up to. I mean, I'm still at my real person job. So these are the people I'm looking up to, and they're telling me that they're not taking me seriously. So it's been a struggle. And then I have a 2-year-old who makes it very difficult sometimes. So I generally work either when she's taking a nap on the weekends or at night. I start about 8:30 p.m. after she's gone to bed.
So you spend a lot of late nights as well.
Yes, I am up till about 11 o'clock every single night, and then back up at 6 a.m. to go to work.
Yeah, no, now I know we're in the same boat, because I don't think I've seen the bed before 11 o'clock since my daughter's been born and since I started this business.
Sometimes I work in my bed just to say that I rested.
There you go. But that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, you have that option to do it from wherever you want, which is one of the things that I love about online business and why I'm so interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. I really appreciate that. So it sounds like you've really found some ways to maximize the use of your time. That's so precious.
A lot of automation.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. So in talking about having your full-time job, do you kind of have a light at the end of the tunnel yet, where you're kind of saying, hey, when I get here, I'm probably going to go ahead and exit that job?
I've had multiple opportunities and thought processes. When I started, I said once I reached enough to eliminate my income, I would decide to quit. And I've had the plan of how I was going to walk into my boss's office and give them my 2 weeks notice, like every night. I'm like, I'm going to do this. Unfortunately, as I was getting very close to reaching that goal, I had a life event happen in which I actually ended up losing a lot of my clients because I wasn't able to take care of them as much as I needed to be taking care of myself. I actually left that abusive relationship, so I became a single mom, hence why I live with my parents now. So yeah, it was, when I left, I had to think about what was more important for me, my child. And at that time it was settling down my own business and just trying to keep myself alive. And that's in a literal sense. And that's to say, so I hope that one day there's that light again. I've even tried applying to other jobs, but are remote, so that maybe I'd have a little bit more time to work my business without the commute and everything else that comes with it.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Right now, it's all about, in the state of North Carolina, you can't get divorced until a year later. So it's all about getting to court and getting through this process.
Wow. So I definitely can commend you for what you're accomplishing, being a single parent. Because, I mean, we have a 1-year-old. You said you have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. Yeah. And I have one daughter who's a year old, and I can't figure out how it can be done. But just with the two of us, me and my wife together, life is crazy like that. So I
will tell you, it gets easier. They sleep through the night.
Yeah.
That helps.
I'm sure that would be a big help. Yeah, that is one of the things that it seems like I'm up all the time now.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I remember going to bed and asking if I could go to bed at 9 o'clock at night because I knew I was going to be up in a couple hours anyway. So I was like, I can't work a business. I need to go to bed like now.
Yeah, no, I feel that pain for sure.
Mhm.
So no, and I appreciate you sharing and being open and sharing,
Yeah.
a little bit about your story with us. And I think it's going to help a lot of us because I know for me, just listening to your story, it gives me encouragement saying, you know what, I could do probably a little bit more than maybe I'm pushing myself to do. And maybe maximize the use of my time a little bit better, even in the face of having a job and a family to take
Mhm.
care of and be with and everything. So that
Yeah, it's definitely taught me a lot about self-care. So I know, like, I have decided that Fridays I don't work. I take my Fridays off, and even I don't have my daughter every other Friday, and yet I still take the time off to be just me. So it's definitely taught me that if I'm going to push as hard as I always push and try not to get sick, I'm going to end up taking the time off and doing the self-care.
right, because if you don't take care of yourself, your body will take care of it for you and make you lay
Yes.
down, right?
Yeah. No, I actually decided right after I left my relationship, I was like, I'm going to push through this and I'm going to do whatever I can because technically, when we were still together, the goal was around this time I'd be quitting my job anyway because we wanted to have another kid and I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. And that all changed. So I was trying to push myself so hard that I had written with a 192/90 blood pressure
Wow.
at 26, which is unseen. So
Wow. That's a little bit
that's what
stressful.
happens when you don't take care of yourself. Yeah, you gotta take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. If there anybody out there that didn't hear that, take care of yourself because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your business. You can't take care of your business or your family or your job. So yeah, I appreciate
Yeah,
sharing that. That's so
yeah, of course.
so I know part of the reason that you had said that you kind of started the business was kind of out of necessity, right? So that
Mhm.
survival instinct that kind of kicked in. So what is it now though that kind of keeps you going? I mean, is there something behind that that kind of gives you purpose in what you're doing?
I think ironically, the business keeps me going so that I can do self care. I have a deal with myself that if I can keep a certain amount, then I'll get my nails done or get my hair done or go to the movies. Right now, as a single mom, a lot of the money that I make from my 9 to 5 is going to the family and going to my child and whatever needs to be paid for. And not a lot of it's being able to go to me. I mean, I'm paying lawyer bills. So I've made a deal with myself that if I reach these limits and keep growing or doing, even if it's not even an income goal, but a task goal, like I've been planning this membership forever. So to say that I set a date and it's going to happen, I've now said once I launch that, I'm going to go get my hair done. So I really think that what's keeping me going is knowing that I get to treat myself if I do it.
Yeah, those are good goals.
Yeah. I am such a take care of yourself, get your nails done kind of girl. So to be able to say that I'm eventually there should be a light at the end of the tunnel and to know that I can take the little goals as I go through, knowing that I won't reach that light as fast as I originally had hoped, doesn't mean I'm not going to ever. And so I'm going to start treating myself while I'm at it.
Yeah, I think that's important, and I think I need to set some goals about some little things that I want to get.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
For sure. So, um, yeah, that's I've heard a lot of people talk about that, and I think I think you're on the right path for sure. So that's good advice for everybody.
Mhm.
Um, Switching gears just a little bit about your business. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I heard you correctly in the beginning. You said that in your first month you made your first $100,000.
Yes, I made my first $100,000, and I have reached my first $1,000 a month, which in within like 5 months of starting my business. Just getting myself out there every second that I could helps a lot.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's absolutely amazing and definitely encouraging because I'm definitely not there yet. That is for
Yeah.
sure. So, in your doing Pinterest, right? So let's
Mhm.
talk a little bit about your business specifically and
Sure.
how you're maybe helping. Do you have any maybe advice for people that maybe want to get into Pinterest, or, maybe need somebody to help them with, getting traffic for some of their funnels or their business or something?
Sure. So if they're going to do Pinterest themselves, I always say keep track of SEO. The biggest trick that you can do is making sure that you've got your keywords. So if you look up whatever you're trying to type or write about into the search bar, everything that pops up is a keyword. So definitely that. But if you are going to hire somebody to do it for you, make sure that the person has a full understanding of not only that they can promote on Pinterest, but that Pinterest has trends. So right now we're going into the summer, and the summer is less likely to have people pinning on Pinterest. So your traffic is going to go down. And if you don't have somebody that understands that and knows what tactics to take to fix those problems, you're going to end up just failing anyway.
So what is really kind of the goal that you kind of have for people or businesses who want to be on Pinterest to grow?
Sure. So the whole big goal of Pinterest is traffic. You can get your sales page and hopefully get sales, but Pinterest isn't about just getting the sales. It's more about getting the traffic to the page so that you can hope to get the sales from it. Then all I can do is get you the traffic to the page. It's up to your page to get the sales. So I always say that a lot of people think, well, I'm not getting as many sales as you said I'm going to get. I'm like, no. I said you're going to get traffic, but if you can't do a good sales page, no one's going to want to buy it anyway. So I can get you the traffic there. I can't get you the sales. Sales are up to you. But I do say that if you're interested in getting that traffic or increasing your traffic in any way, I'd do it this way.
So is there a particular kind of target audience that, that you really kind of find on Pinterest, or is it now kind of more just anything goes nowadays?
Recently, it has been anything goes, but I do know that mommy blogs, food bloggers, people with a lot of content within mom and food niches tend to do better because you're finding the people that are looking for parenting tips or food recipes.
That's awesome. But I appreciate those insights because, and Pinterest being, another very popular social media platform. I mean, there's definitely some traffic to be had there if you know what you're doing. So
yeah, there definitely is. And even if it's not what you hoped, it's traffic. Traffic is traffic. Then you have to do the rest.
Right. Yeah. That's a key. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you pointed that out because a lot of people think that because you get traffic, that means automatically sales, but there's a whole other process that you have to go through. But getting traffic is one of the hardest things to do, I think, in your business, just to get those people to see your business, to engage with you. So great. No, thanks, Rachel. And I really appreciate you spending some time with us on the show today and kind of sharing your story. If people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you at?
They can find me on any social media platform by looking up Rachel Scott LLC, or they can go to rachelscottllc.com.
Awesome. And from what I understand, I think you also have a program for people who maybe want to learn how to become Pinterest gurus like yourself.
Yeah. So like I said before, I didn't want to be the person spending $500 to become a Pinterest manager. So instead, I decided to be the person that creates a membership that is so affordable that eventually you'd spend the $500 in 2 years. But until then, you can afford a monthly charge. And I say that you'll make a profit every single month, even if you're in my membership. So it teaches you all about how to become a Pinterest manager from start to the grow to the scale.
That's awesome. So they can find that on your website?
Yeah, they can go to rachelscottllc.com/pinprep. Right now it is in beta, but it launches on July 1st. So you'll get all that information right there.
That's great. We'll definitely be looking forward to that, Rachel. And again, thank you so much for spending some time with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you would share it with somebody that you think might get some real value out of this. And Also, if you haven't already done so, head on over to purposedrivenfunnels.com. Get on the email newsletter there so you can see what's going on behind the scenes. As I told you guys here recently, I'm working on some special things for you and your business. So jump on over there and get signed up and be watching for that to come out real soon. Until next time, I'm wishing you success on your purpose-driven journey. God bless.